on earmarks, how you propose funding federal projects or programs in the district. Please offer specifics.
Well, thank you. I think there's processes in place to fund things. Illinois Department of Transportation gets money. They fund projects. The federal government funds projects. Here's been the problem with earmarks, and I've got to say Congressman Manzullo was one of the largest earmarkers in the Illinois Republican delegation until, frankly, the freshman class went and banned them. Here's the problem with earmarks. Earmarks were being laden and added to bad pieces of legislation in order to pass them. Now, the congressman said from 2001 or 2007 to today he voted 300 times to cut spending. Well, Nancy Pelosi was the Speaker of the House. But from 2001 to 2007, he voted for a 60% increase in the size of the federal government. The reason it happened that he voted to cut from 2007 on is because it was Nancy Pelosi's bills, and all Republicans voted against them. So when it comes to earmarking, it was the symptom that it created. The fact is, the last transportation bill that passed with 6,000 earmarks in it. Over 6,000 earmarks. What we have now is a situation where bills are passed based on their merits, or they're not passed based on their merits. No longer can a congressman hold out and say, I'm not going to vote for that bill, and then somebody can come and put their arm around him and say, you know what, I'll give you $3 million and you can be on the front page of your paper if you do. So we've banned that practice, and it's something I think needs to stay away.
Well, a year before the freshman class came, Republican conference banned earmarks because of the excesses. Freshman class had nothing to do with it. We didn't have earmarks for an entire year. Second of all, in 3 opportunities that Adam Kinzinger had to ban earmarks, he was one of only 3 Republicans who voted to keep Nancy Pelosi's earmark to fund a $30 million project in her district. And it's vote after vote. In fact, I want you to take a look at the back of the room. There's 79 specific votes. 2 other opportunities he had the chance to ban earmarks, and he did. And so that's why the conservative groups say this is the true conservative. If you take a look also at the fact that the cash for clunkers, first of all, that bill was totally paid for. Didn't cost the taxpayers a dime. Second of all, the biggest employer in this congressional district is Chrysler in Belvidere, Illinois. Any attempt to restart the manufacturing process, to kickstart the supply chains, to get people back to work, to have an incentive to buy automobiles as opposed to giving money away, I voted for that. 700,000 automobiles were purchased and 40,000 people went back to work. I think that was a wise use of money. Did I like the clunkers aspect of it? No. But it was the best that we could get under the circumstances. Just ask the guys on the line at Chrysler in Belvidere if I made the right
vote. Saying that that's the right vote means that you believe the federal government can pick winners and losers and author success or not success of a company. And by the way, Congressman, that Pelosi thing you're talking about, you voted to create that in 1996, and in fact, 9 different occasions since then, you voted to keep that funding.
Yes, sir. Sorry. Do you favor term limits? If so, how long? Please explain your position.
The Articles of Confederation had term limits. When the Scribners drew the Constitution, they decided not to have them so that James Madison could run for re-election, and he couldn't under the Articles of Confederation. Term limits is between a member of Congress and the people who represents. When I first ran, I said, I think it would be good to be limited to 6 terms in Congress. And then came the 7th term, people were begging me. Said, Don, please run again. We know how conservative you are. We know what you've done for manufacturing in the district. I said, okay, let's have a referendum on term limits. They put it before the people. And that year was one of the highest margins that I ever got. But I had found out this, that if you limit yourself to terms in Congress, you limit yourself to be in positions where you can chair a committee. The chair of his committee has been in Congress for 28 years, of the Energy and Commerce. I chaired the Small Business Committee. I would not have had the opportunity to do that had I term limited myself. The Speaker of the House was elected 2 years before I was. It's not how long you've been in Congress, it's how correctly you vote and how you represent the people that counts. That's why these organizations have said I'm the most conservative member running for Congress. That's why they're endorsing me. Adam Kinzinger, after 1 year, they're saying, we've looked at your record and you're not a conservative. And the man who's been there for 19 years is more conservative than you are. Now, who do you want representing you? Somebody who votes with a card, or who talks and says that he wants to be conservative? Ultimately, it's the voting card that determines it all.